Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're doing a first impression of the top 10 Board Game Geek ranked Ark Nova.
Top 10. Are you kidding me? Tom
It's
Vassal
already
hype.
there. It is already there, and it is crazy. I can't believe that when I first saw the cover of this game, I would have put good money on that there was no way within like about a year or less, or I don't know how long it's been, but that it would be in the Board Game Geek top 10. Currently, I think it sits at 7, which is just insanely crazy to me. I think the last thing I saw that shot up kind of that quickly would have been Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, maybe.
Yeah.
That shot up pretty quickly. But that was already after Gloomhaven has been on the top for I don't know how long now. So it was kind of expected that one could kind of go up pretty quickly. But
Kind of a sequel, but it is compared to Terraforming Mars, but still, it's not in the IP or anything.
No, and it's not the same company that made it. And I think it's Matthias Wiggy, I think, is a new designer. I don't know if he's done anything else, anything else that is talked about or whatever that much. So, it's kind of crazy, kind of insane, but definitely got me excited about trying it because, it's compared to Terraforming Mars, which is one of my favorite games of all time. It's more of a Euro-style game, which I guess you could kind of tell from the cover, but at the same time, it's not one of those blah-looking covers, since it's got that good blue and green color, but I still don't know if I love the cover, but...
It's an interesting cover.
It's an interesting cover.
I think a lot of people were really turned off by the cover. I wasn't as much.
Mm-hmm.
But then once all the hype started going in, then I'm like, okay, it can't be that great. So then I started to take jabs at the cover.
Right. It was an interesting sounding one. I did like the idea of because you're kind of in the game, you're building your zoo. It is.
Yep.
I like the idea of that type of theme. It kind of reminds me of a lot of our dinosaur-themed games where you got a park, and I really like that type of theme. So that got me excited as well. I don't know that I'd heard many people say like, "Oh, the theme comes through. It's very thematic. You're running a zoo," or anything like that. So it wasn't like I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna really feel like I'm doing a zoo," but just that it was a good theme that I liked. Made it even better, and it wasn't just one of the themes that I tend to get in the Euro games of you're doing something in some European city, doing something for points, even though most of the rest of that is right where you're doing something for points, but wasn't quite the same.
I not as big a fan nearly of Terraforming Mars as you are, so I wasn't that excited about the game. And definitely with all the hype, I'm like, there's no way it can be that deserving of shooting up to number 7 of all time within a year. So I wasn't that excited for it, and it's a heavier game, a bigger game, a long game, and it's wasn't very approachable to me. I didn't think it would be. So, my expectations and excitement level was quite a bit lower, I would say, than you.
Yeah, I think mine was high, but I don't think it was probably, even though it was high, I don't think it was the highest expectations I had for a board game. Like, we had made a list of our top 10 we were most interested in, and even though this one had gotten hyped up, I don't know if this would have made a list for me. It might have made right at the end of a list of 10 to 15 maybe. But I still pretty excited about it. Especially compared to Terraforming Mars, and then some little bits of, I think people said also Rajas of the Ganges, which I really like as well. Really love as well, I should say. Just the combination of those, I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Those are two really great games, and everyone's seeming to like it. It's shooting up, so I'm like, this sounds really exciting. So now I've actually gotten 2 plays of this. You got 1 play of it. What did you think after 1 play?
It was big and long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the main board. Very big, very long board. Maybe
is
the
a long
longest board. Took up like about here.
Yeah,
to,
kind of
just off screen here.
Right, and it kind of explains why the box is such a weird shape.
Yes.
Well, not such a weird shape, but a weirdly shaped.
But yeah.
But yeah, so now we've got dogs in our hands. They were very barky, so they're going to be in the Ark Nova since it's very animal based. There are definitely some cards in there that remind me of Cookie all the time. So, this is definitely a big box. It's a big board and a long game.
A table hog for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, big table hog, just like the other dinosaur themed games that I'd mentioned that also are building your own park. You kind of always know that that's going to be a little bit of a bigger game because usually you have to have your own player board, and those are going to be a little bit larger.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so
I enjoyed it. I would say it's probably on the same level of Terraforming Mars for me, which I like Terraforming Mars, and I like kind of some satisfaction when you can get some really good cards played. And this kind of has some tile placement as well in the game. A little more interesting than it is in Terraforming Mars, so I enjoyed that. And it also has that Rajas of the Ganges scoring mechanism, which I think is really, really satisfying, especially on the one multiple spaces, kind of the glory from Rajas of the Ganges, where it actually is like twice, or it even gets up to like 3 or 4 times as valuable as the other tracks. So when you can actually get that moving, every one of those you gain is actually like 5 points apiece.
Right.
And that was just really satisfying near the end of the game when you get like 4 or 5 of those, and it's just huge.
Yeah, I would agree. This one's definitely probably. For my 2 plays, a little bit longer than I think even like games of Terraforming Mars, even the first ones I played of those. So I think that might have hurt it a little bit for me. I don't mind longer games, but this one definitely is quite long. And yeah, I like a lot of what it has. The card play is somewhat similar, but I do like the difference in this one where you kind of have the 5 actions you can do. Yeah. And they get more powerful if you don't use them for a while.
That was pretty cool.
I do like how that works, and I think it helps simplify this game a little bit, I think. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like you...
kind of cycling through your actions. You might want to take one, but you really can't take it how you want it yet, so you got to upgrade it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked how that worked. I don't know that I mean... I think there's a lot to this game, and a lot of things that I still haven't really seen even after 2 plays, or haven't been able to maybe combo as well. But I felt like the Raja's track thing, so far for me, for what I've seen, isn't quite as interesting as the one in Raja's. I don't know. I do like it. It does have a very similar feel, and if you can get going up those tracks,
you can gain some bonuses along the way. At least the one,
right?
How different is it from Rajas that you do have a clear preference?
I think the Rajas one. The part with Rajas, I think, is it's a lot simpler to see my path to obtaining more of that fame.
No, that's
whereas
true.
This one, true. And it was my own fault. Like some of the original goals that kind of really helped you push up early on, I didn't really end up having or getting cards that went with those ones, so I wasn't able to fulfill any of those. And then when I got as the game went on, I actually had almost no chance at more of those types of cards until like the very end of the game. So I was kind of just stuck. I wasn't able to move up the one track, so I was having to solely focus on just the points track. Cookie. I'll let you go down for a little bit. So yeah, I had to solely focus on the points track. Kind of, I felt like, whereas you guys kind of got going a little bit more on that, and then kind of got some of those income things that you were getting every round, which I did not have any of. Until I think maybe the very end. I don't even know if I triggered it again, except maybe one time. But that was partially my own fault. So I wouldn't say that was the game. It was just my own fault of not going for those ones, and then I don't know if. Felt like this one too. I had some carnivores in my hand early, and I had one that said, "Oh, you get points for every carnivore," and I think I just tried to go ultra heavy on them, and that kind of maybe focused in too much, and I probably should have widened my horizon a little bit more than that. I think, but so I think that was my own fault, but it made it, I thought, a little harder to go up there. But you must have obviously felt different, like you were getting a good amount of that.
It's kind of weird because it didn't feel like there were a lot of places to get it, like you said. But I did get some of those goals as well.
Oh, right.
Which definitely helped. And but yeah, it's some of the things are. It's hard to, like you said, it's hard to see the different paths to different things, because sometimes I'm like, I need those little X marks, which there's actually mostly from covering up spots on your board, but I was kind of looking around at the whole table trying to find where I could possibly get that. And the same with some of those points as well. Joey, don't jump down there right onto Cookie. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably coming in at maybe a 7. About maybe 7.25. It was interesting. Like I said, I probably prefer it just about as much as I do Terraforming Mars. Oh boy, if this box was moved and you could see what was going on behind here.
Oh, Cookie, you're causing trouble. What would you?
So I think I probably have about the same preference for the two games. At this moment. Both themes are probably about the same. They're both
Joey.
You can just stand there, Joey.
Sit down, Joey. No. I would agree. I think I'd put this one at about a 7.5 or 7.75.
Oh wow.
I do like what it has, but I think I still. Currently, I highly prefer. I think Terraforming Mars to this one.
Highly.
There's something about Terraforming Mars that just it feels like it goes a little bit fast, even though I don't know that it actually does go faster, but it feels like it does. There's something about this that makes it feel like it drags, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it might just be because it's the first couple plays. Once I get a little more used to some of the cards that are in there.
Yeah, it feels like you feel the impact of your income more in Terraforming Mars than this, since it's a few different incomes in that one versus this, which is just kind of getting money based on how many points you have currently.
Right. And I think what I like about Terraforming Mars too is I've always liked kind of like in Tapestry as well, where you can kind of keep going as long as you're able to afford things. And that's something I've really, really liked, and that is something this one does not have.
Yes,
it's kind of just these random times that the round can end based on this coffee cup going up this track. So I think that was maybe part of it. That's probably the part that I liked about Terraforming Mars actually the most. So that not having that here, I think kind of cut it down a little bit. No, I mean, even though sounding negative, I think it's just more. I'd like to like it a lot more, but I think it's just going to be harder because I guess the good thing is I'd probably be playing it 2-player most of the time, because I think if you start playing this one 4-player, I think it's going to be a very long game.
Yes, I mean it was very long at just 3 players, and
like 3 hours or something.
I don't think there's really anything that would shorten it.
Right. But maybe they'll make, if they made like a prelude type expansion that kind of gets you going a little bit faster. I could see that taking some time off the game maybe, which would probably help it a little bit more for me.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's still a game to definitely check out. But yeah, I think it's dependent. If you don't really prefer to play, I think even it's going to be most of the time you're probably going to be playing for 2.5 hours. I think even at 2 players. So if you prefer games under that amount, I would probably recommend another game, but I would definitely at least give this one a try once and see what your thoughts are of it.
It's a zoo in here.
But I think they're saying it's about time to end this video. So, unless you had any final thoughts on it.
I'm good.
Sounds good. But that is our first impressions of Ark Nova. And we hope to see you on the next video. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.